Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel, and some of you may never come back after I finish this. My point here is that as a Second Amendment community, we need to be careful in deciding what hill we want to die on. The stabilizing brace hill isn't it. Isn't it? I mean, that device was cute when it was developed in 2012. It was great marketing, and SIG picked it up under the guise that the poor disabled veterans needed to have something to help them stabilize an AR's large pistol frame, for them shooting. While that might be true with some disabled veterans who happen to have a certain type of disability which requires stabilizing, uh, it certainly is not in the multi-millions that have been sold. Let's face it, the so-called stabilizing brace was intended at the end of the day to create a short barrel rifle that avoided the National Firearms Act regulations. That's why there are millions of them out there. It's to have a pistol with a barrel length less than 16 inches, and you can put this thing on there and it's still classified as a pistol. And highly concealable, by the way. So what's happened is that number 2012 was going into Barack Obama's second term, and lots of anti-gun stuff was going on, but the ATF, which is a federal bureaucracy, had its hands full with Fast and Furious, right? Or whatever the hell they call that thing where the guns end up being in Mexico. So they could not stick their head up as an agency and get too involved with that. So they approved with very broad language, that said, yeah, this thing called the stabilizing brace works. And it was so unclear that several clarifying communications came out from ATF. And some people got their nose bent out of shape because they didn't like some answers and so forth. My point is that the ATF knew the real intent of the stabilizing brace, but they didn't have the juice or the political support to go after it. Now, with Biden and Harris and others coming into the administration, after all, ATF is just another bureaucracy, and you have people in the ATF that have hated the stabilizing brace since its inception. Now, they have fertile ground to run on. Now, add to that the strategy that has been given to the ATF to remove these highly concealable rifles from the market. And you do that by redefining or clarifying whether or not a stabilizing brace now qualifies. And the mood now is that it doesn't. That's the mood in the ATF. And they have the political support. That means the bureaucrats aren't going to get fired for doing it. The political support for now to go after, hammer and tong, this thing called the stabilizing brace. Now, what does that mean if you first of all, I don't have one. When I first saw them, I thought they were silly, and I'm a combat veteran, and I'm going, it makes no sense to me. And if some person, as if you go to the website for SB Tactical, and you see the story about the guy on the range. He was a Marine and was going to get kicked off, told stop, blah blah blah. Great. And I'm not saying that story's not true. What I am saying is that you don't have multi-millions of those people, which justifies the manufacturing of that. You do have multi-millions of owners of long guns that love the fact that you could have this thing you put on it, and now you have a short barrel rifle without having to go through NFA. So let's not get that twisted. That's exactly the reason that this thing is out there. And the ATF now has the political support to go after it because they hated it from day one. So here you have this thing. And one of the strategies, the worst strategy is to say to those who own these things, if you want to keep them, you now must declare them or register them as NFA items. Yeah, we won't charge you the $200 stamp, but that's not the deal. Even though ATF is a taxing revenue generating entity. The real deal is the beginning of registration of the rifle itself. That's the part that has the fire control and that kind of stuff. That's what that's about. And all I can say is first of all, no one should do that. Should register jack. But we now know that the ATF has access to databases where they know who the purchasers have been of these stabilizing braces. Now, I'm not sure what those databases are. Maybe some from credit cards, some from stores. I don't know. But they are able to go after people who have bought these things. So if they can do that, they can do that with enough emphasis to say to you all who have those things, take them off your gun, make the barrel 16 inches or longer, and put on a folding stock and be happy. Right? And now you don't have to register jack. You don't have to comply with anything. But politically, that war is lost. And I feel sorry for SB Tactical, but this is America, and there's nothing that says in our capitalist society that we must protect a particular business doing a particular thing. Right? And I don't know those guys from a hot rock, but they've had their run. They've had their run like a lot of businesses have in this country, and now their run is about to be over. And it will be over because any of you who have those things, you don't want to be caught with one at the range or have some Karen drop a dime on you with the ATF, right? Or your group or whoever, or worse, be walking around in public with those stupid things, right? And then be arrested and then become a felon. And the news will say, federal firearms violator, blah, blah, blah. That is what's in queue, right? So is the stabilizing brace the hill we want to die on? No. And if you have one, change the configuration of the thing that it's on, throw it away. I don't care. Yeah, it's cool. It makes it concealable. It's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's just an adjustable stock. That's what it is, and that's how the ATF sees it. And if you try to make it something else, oh, it's for the poor handicapped veteran, fuck that. It's not. And you know it's not. So put this energy behind something that has more juice when it gets to the Supreme Court. So I hope I don't lose all my subscribers, but this is my channel. That's my opinion. If you have something else to say, please say it down below. And with that, as always, thanks for watching. Carry on.